happy and joy is a result of growth. It's not while you're going through growth. That's uncomfortable. That is a difficult time. When you're under that bench press and you're trying to get 225 off your chest, that's hard. Well, it's fun the first time you get it off your chest, but then you got to go get 250. Well, 250 ain't comfortable now. It's not fun to get underneath that bar. And so the challenge is growth and trying to understand the patience and the aggression, because it's a combination of both, that comes with making other people want to grow. Is a challenge, it's something that never ends. I just spoke to our players about that today. The journey, the goal, is to always get better. It's not to be at peace with who you are. Always get better. Doesn't mean we got to be great today. It's okay. Like when I was a young coach, man, I used to come into practice. If we didn't play well the night before, I'd go out, drink beer all night. I still had to go teach my math class at 7:00 in the morning. So now I'm miserable because I'm short sleep. And I watch film because that's what I would do. I'd go drink beer and watch film. So now I've slept 2.5 hours to go teach math class. Those students don't care that we had a bad game. I got a responsibility to come teach them. So I had to do my job. So now by the time we get to practice at 3:30, I'm really, really tired.
Yeah.
But I was still
and irritable.
Yeah, I was still full of piss and vinegar from the day before. And then I come into practice like a madman. That didn't help anything get better. That's irrelevant. I realized as I started getting older, if we didn't play well, 9 times out of 10, it's my fault. I didn't prepare the right way. So why the heck would I be mad at them the next day? And I've realized that sometimes you don't play well. It's part of life. I did my job. They tried. We just didn't play well. Or sometimes you play out of your minds, but the next day is the next day.
Do you think that 15 years or whatever it was that you were coaching math in high school, do you think that prepared you to be a better communicator, better coach?
Hands down. It's
why? Why was it because math is hard and nobody understands it?
Yeah. So I'm a young math teacher and I wanted to teach. And again, man, I don't say this like I'm like this rough, gruff guy or whatever. Nah, I say this because it's just my journey. So I share my journey. It's not, I don't try to be, I'm an open book. I don't try to act like I'm smarter than anybody or any of that stuff. But I always wanted to teach. Math was numbers and stuff was something that was always attractive to me when I was young. So I always wanted to teach the students that didn't want to do schoolwork. I got a joy out of that one. Like, let me figure out a way to help these folks that nobody else wants to help. And I'd end up in a classroom and math is a subject that 80% of students despise. Like, man, why am I doing this? But there you go.
Give me a practical way I'm going to use this in my life.
Well, here you come. Here's where it's coming. So I got no idea where this came from. No one ever told me this, but I'm a big believer when you're the one. My high school coach always said, Frank, the most important person in the room every day is the head coach. It's the most important person. If the head coach isn't rock solid with their messaging and their convictions, everyone else falls out of line. And so now as a teacher, again, most important person in the classroom is the teacher. If the teacher doesn't have answers for you, when you have questions, I got no chance to lead you. And so I'm in front of the room and it's an Algebra 1 class. And I had this one dude who everyone in school knew him because he hated school, but he wasn't a bad guy, but he just hated school. So he's in my class and we're dealing with algebra, which is all formulas. And he said, Coach, why I got to do this, man? He was like, I ain't never going to, like, I go to the grocery store, man. They ain't saying A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Like, what? I have no idea, Christian, where this came from. It's just like the thought ended in my head. It's what came out of my mouth. And I've owned it ever since because it makes sense to me. And it's helped the people I've been in front of. I said, I totally agree with you. You're not going to the grocery store or the restaurant for a math formula. I said, but I can tell you this, figuring out how to solve that formula, that creates logic. And as you go through life, life gets more complicated. And the more complicated it gets, the more problems you have. If you can't solve problems, you got a problem. So you better take advantage of creating a mindset on how to solve problems through math. That's going to help you later on in life when you solve other problems. Because if not, if you don't solve problems, like I use my math examples teaching players. I'm like, yo, we're 2 days in. We're in chapter 1. Eventually, I got to get to chapter 5. If you're still in chapter 1, I can't play you. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you. But if you're in chapter 1, I can't play you because the people in chapter 5 are going to be mad at me if I try to put you in there because I'm going to mess it up for them. They get bored.
Yeah, that is listen, I've never heard that version of it. And I'm trying to bring myself back to when I was high school. And if my algebra teacher tried to explain it to me that way,